Alright guys, so welcome to today's video. In today's video, I just want to quickly show you how to convert tools into local scripts. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So I've seen this question a lot of times now on my channel, so back then, but even today. So for example, when we have this kind of tool right here, right, which is responsible to, run a move right here, how do you convert this whole thing in just one local script? Okay, so how can you get rid of this tool and only use the local script but still have the move? So how does this work? And in order to understand this, you have to understand the nature of tools. Okay, so the only thing you have to know about tools when it comes to this topic right here is that tool can require a handle or not. All right, if it requires a handle, then you need something called handle inside of it in order to make it work. Okay, otherwise this local script right here, it will not run. So those events right here, which are which are which are connected to the tool, so script parent refers to the tool, obviously. So events like equipped and unequipped are also activated, which stands for left mouse button click when you have equipped the tool. So all of these things will now work as long as requires handle is true and you have no handle inside of there. All right, that's the first thing. If you untick this, then all of these will work without handle. That's obvious. So if we speak of tools now, you have to differentiate whether you're using something like, show it to you, something like script.activated, which stands for left mouse button click, or if you're using something like this, means you are equipping the tool and then you have a variable which turns either to true or to false according to the status of whether this thing is equipped or not. And then you have a user input service down here which checks for specific key and also whether the tool is equipped or not. So do you see the difference in between those two cases? First one doesn't even need this user input service. It just needs to know whether the tool was activated or not. That's the only thing, all right? So the move is actually bound to an action which stands in direct connection with the tool. Second thing right here, so the second case, the activation of this attack requires a certain key to be pressed and the tool to be equipped. So there is one more requirement which is outside of this tool, all right? So you have to differentiate in between those two cases. Okay, so I don't think that there are any other cases, but let's just continue, all right? So if you have this first case, for example, script.parent.activated, you can do the following. So you can create a local script, all right? So as you wanted to have, and then you have to refer to this user input service, all right? So game get service user input service. So this service right here is responsible to get your user's input, and then you have to do input begin, which basically stands for the case that an input has been or has started. All right, so this means that you have pressed one key, but this doesn't imply whether you have let go of it or you're holding it or whatsoever. It only implies that you have started pressing on the key. Okay, now the first argument we receive is the input itself. The second one is something called game processed event. I'm going to call it GPE. We have to check whether this GPE is not the case, because GPE stands for, tells us whether the input right here was done while interacting with in-game elements, and if not GPE, then we can exclude that case, all right? So next thing we would like to know is whether the input was, and then you can just add one key you would like to add. So let's say Q. Okay, so if your input was Q right here, then we want to fire server. All right, so pretend that this print right here would be a fire server, a certain remote event right here. So just pretend that, all right? But that's when how you set up keybinds, okay? And this is important because, as you can see, this works when I press Q. So we will now use this keybind right here to do the stuff we would have done with the tools, okay? So let's move on with this first case, for example. So we have script.activated, all right? So when we get rid of this tool right here, you have no tool to check on whether it was activated or not. Therefore, we need an alternative to this. This alternative is going to be a key, okay? And in this case, I've picked Q. You can also pick E, R, T, whatsoever. So just depends on you, all right? And if you have picked a key, if you have set this up, then you just have to, oh, where is it? You just have to just take over this. So all of these. So all of this environment right here. Yeah. So cooldown. I'll also take over this because this also belongs to the local script, but has not, or this doesn't have to do with this activation right here. And then you just take everything inside of here. And you just paste it. Ah, come on, where is it? Nah, yeah, you just paste it inside of here then. And there you go. So that's when how we have converted this Mago Fist into a local script. And when I now take all of these right here and set this model up, and take everything which is inside of here as well, because that's important, and then just start playing, it should work, all right? As you can see, I have no Mago Fist full right here, but I'm still able to do the attack. And that's when how you successfully convert this first case, means script.parent activated, into a keybind, all right? So into a local script. Now, the question, how do you do it with this one, all right? So if we pretend that the tool now does not exist, okay, so we only have this local script right here, then you have to look out for the parts where the tool is included, all right? So script.parent is a big indicator because script parent refers to the tool, obviously, all right? So if this tool does not exist, then we have to get rid of all of these references right here, as you can see. And this would mean that we have no code right here which tells us whether equip is true or false, all right? And if you think about it, this variable right here becomes silly as well, because there is no tool which you can equip or unequip. It means you always should be able to use this first form right here. Let me just quickly change the, this key right here, because otherwise it will interrupt with our Mago Fist. But as you can see, wait. Wait. All right, so this one is a little bit different because we have a handle right here. All right, so this is actually a bad example. This is a bad example. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, let me just revert this. But the actions you have to do are the exact same as with this one. All right, so you just have to create, or you have to refer to this user input service, as we have done right here, and then just remove this equip thing, remove this equip things right here as well, and then this should be fine. The only problem why this did not work because we have this handler right here. All right, so you would need to, when you fire server this, you would need to clone this handle into our character and weld it onto its hand, and then this should work, so that's the only problem right here. But apart from that, that's when how you do this. All right, so you just have to think. All right, we have this tool right here, and we have been referring to this tool throughout the script. All right, so what happens when I now destroy the tool, but my local script is still referring to it? All right, then obviously you have to get rid of all of these parts where it is referring to it. When you have things like script.parent activated, which obviously trigger when you have activated the tool, and then you're deleting them, then you will need an alternative to trigger this remote event, or this fire server of the remote event. This alternative in this case is going to be this input begin event right here, as I've already shown it to you. All right, guys, so with that being said, I hope I was helpful enough for you. All right, so see ya.